Everyone, today's Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. The time is 2:07 p.m. This is our weekly business meeting and status update, officially calling the meeting to order. Attending Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. James, would you lead us, please, in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't have my computer up, so if you want to give me that.
You okay? Okay, so our first item is our consent,
Your paper.
consent calendar.
You have
Oh,
it?
you just want the paper?
No, there you go. Then turn that paper. Now, you're gonna have to use the paper if I'm using the
Yeah,
computer.
use the computer, go ahead. Okay, so our first item is the consent calendar.
I move we approve the consent calendar as listed on our business meeting agenda for December 21st, 2021.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye. Payables list, please.
I move that we approve the payables for the week of December 13th through 17th, 2021 in the amount of $609,395.46.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
No.
Hearing none, moving on to our action items. Number one, renewal memorandum of understanding for emergency transportation for Lakeland School District, Office of Emergency Management.
Hi, good afternoon. Sarah Lafredo, OEM for the record. And this is just the renewal of the MOU between Kootenai County and Lakeland School District. The only changes made were just the contact information, so we are asking for your approval for the renewal.
Okay. Bill, you want to take that?
Sure,
please?
I move that we approve the renewal of the memorandum of understanding with the Emergency Transportation and Lakeland School District.
Second.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Item number two, termination of contract with Water Solutions, Inc., KCSO, our 911 group.
Lieutenant Higgins, for the record, I'm on the phone. I'd like to the Water Solutions agreement I'd like to terminate. It is was an agreement that was established in 2004 for a water cooler that we ended up purchasing one on our own to save the county about half
Okay.
annually.
Thank you for that. Motion?
I move that we approve the termination of contract for Water Solutions, Inc.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, motion's carried. Item number three, a review of staffing issues at 911 Center, KCSO. Captain Smart, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. I would like to just go over with you some of our current state of affairs at 911 as we're starting to reach some numbers in staffing that are causing us to feel that we need to bring it to your attention, as well as some possible solutions that we want to bring forward. Again, I think that you've had a chance to review the memo from Lieutenant Higgins on that. A couple of the points I would like to just bring forward from that again is, over the last year, we have lost 4 seasoned dispatchers, along with several of those who we have recently hired and been unable to retain. And it's time for us to start readdressing some of our tactics on how we're going to draw from our pool. And some of that is we need to start looking at drawing a few more lateral possibilities. Recently, we've had a handful of laterals that have looked at us, but unfortunately, they can't compete with our housing market and the wage that they would be coming in at dispatch. And those are laterals who are even looking at coming in at a 7-year mark for us. And even when we talk about the max mark, many of them are saying, I'm sorry, that's just not going to work for us. We can't afford to make that transition. We've lost at least 6 in the last 6 months of those lateral people for those reasons. And those are people who, they infuse a lot into our training program and the speed that it takes to get somebody up and running, as well as just the background that they bring versus hiring someone who's brand new, who's never been in the profession and doesn't know anything about it, and trying to bring them along in the same process. We have taken steps down there due to our staffing to combine some radio channels. We used to have minimums of 5 down at the center. We have moved that down to 4, but the problem with that is just causing more burnout for the staff that is already there. We are continuing to do more with less people. I mean, we're at staffing numbers that would rival what we were in 1992 when we first opened the center as a consolidated center. Since then, we've had growth, not only in the community, but growth amongst all of the entities that we serve as a whole. And we just can't compete with the numbers we have down there to satisfy all of the requirements that they all want from us. If we continue to go down this road, we're gonna, combining more radio channels, that sounds nice, but then we start getting into safety issues of not only for the public, but our officers, the firefighters, the EMS people who have to go to these calls. It literally would take us 7 at minimums to staff it functionally down there, and we're getting down to 4. On the next cycle that we have bid out right now, it's technically 4.5. And that means if everybody works every day of their week that they are supposed to work with no vacations, no sick leave, no nothing. You guys know as well as anybody from our budget from the past that anytime somebody is off for something, that's overtime that we're also dishing out to try to cover those holes. Many of those people down there have been doing this for 10 years, that they've been working through this grind of 5 to 6 days a week that others in the county alone aren't even doing. The people that we're losing even, they're going for jobs that are paying them the same amount, but with less stress, no overtime, 40-hour work weeks guaranteed, weekends off. And so we have to come up with something new to infuse into our process down there. And so what we're gonna ask you to do is gonna take a large chunk and a large leap. We're looking for a matrix move. And it's time to demonstrate to our current employees down there that we value them, as well as infusing into what we're gonna bring to the center in the future. And we're looking for a matrix move of $5 across the board.
Are you looking for a decision today?
Well, we're looking for at least a strong commitment to address the needs down there. So yes, if you're willing to put an answer on it today, yes, we would push for that.
Can we talk about this Thursday at the HR meeting?
I'll leave that to the sheriff and undersheriff.
Because it'd be nice to see the numbers and the normal background stuff that we see in the HR meetings.
Sure. I'll give you maybe just a quick snippet. I did send an email at one point that, we're having HR look at a lot of numbers across our comparable agencies and whatnot, and that's great, and we need to do that. But sometimes we can't fully wait for that. We did some preliminary numbers of our own, checking with some of those same agencies, as well as some that are alike size departments as ours. As well as when we look at these, we have to compare them versus not just starting, it's what tasks we take on a daily basis versus what that center is doing on a daily basis. We do all things at our dispatch center: call taking, law dispatching, fire dispatching, medical dispatching. There's many centers who only do one of those components and still get paid the same thing that we do down there. Strikingly, just in our area alone, Ada, Canyon, and Post Falls. Post Falls has now passed us on starting as well as max. Ada and Canyon, they start out slightly less than us, but they overtake us in 2 years and far out succeed us as we go down further in the stretch. Spokane, both Spokane City as well as their Spokane County Shrek Center, they're well above us in all facets straight across the board, especially when you start comparing alike processes that we do. Their dispatch center, who does all facets over there, are routinely $4 to $5 higher than what we are at just starting. And that grows exponentially when you're talking about dispatchers of our caliber who would be at max.
And I hope that you understand what the captain's saying is that we are at critical levels. Robert Norris, Sheriff, we're at critical levels. Even if you gave us this, or you voted on this today, it's going to take us a year to get hired and get ready to be up and running. So we are going to have service reductions. We are likely going to have delays in many calls for service. We are at critical mass,
and I've been telling you this since, January. I know it's perceived differently from each of you, but yes, we are a critical mess right now. So quite honestly,
If we were to do this, not today, but very soon, what does that do to the people who are detention deputies and starting patrol deputies in terms of a comparable wage?
well, that's a separate issue. We have significant issues in our jail which need to be addressed. I'm not so sure this attorney building is the right thing at the right time right now. We have significant personnel issues, public safety. You are responsible not only for residents in the unincorporated area, but in the city of Coeur d'Alene and in the city of Spirit Lake. The dispatch center here services all of those.
EMS.
And the fire service. And EMS. So we are at critical level. People are citing, the ones that are leaving, the workload of 60-plus hours a week, month after month after month after month. But I've been telling you this for months.
So Spokane, are they full? Is their dispatch full?
To be honest, I didn't ask that particular question. I can tell you that we had a candidate who recently looked at us who was looking to be a dispatcher. She was in their call-taking stage, and she wanted to be dispatcher. And they told her it would be 2 years to get there. So whether that means that they're full or they just don't want to move somebody for 2 years, I don't know officially. But it's definitely not a quick process for them. And it's something that we entertain right out of the gate. We're putting them at the level that Spokane is trying to say 2 years down the road.
Yep, Dan, go right ahead.
Chris, I just wanted to be clear that our intent today was to put the concept of the problem in your mind, and there was no expectation, although if you want to give us $5 an hour, we wouldn't argue for a minute, but there wasn't an expectation to make a decision today. We kind of figured you'd go through the HR route. But, in fairness to you and in fairness to what we're trying to accomplish, we thought we'd first tell you what the problem is and then have enough time to figure out how to attack it.
Sure.
We're losing two more, one in another 2 weeks, Kev.
Yeah, one at the end of December here would put us at 10 vacancies at our center. And then we have one in April who's going to retire, and we have one in April that is going to move to a detention deputy position. And we've held that person back as long as we can, and we have to give them to the jail now. It's been 6 months, excuse me, since they were offered that position, and we've TTY'd them over there for now, but they have to get to post and get up and going, or they're not
Right.
going to be able to be certified in their time frame
Sure.
for that as well. And
So maybe one of your questions is, Sheriff, what have you done? Well, I put deputies over there to learn how to dispatch. I've asked all of the agencies within the county to provide me bodies to be put on loan over there. I have done everything that I can do. I visit, I motivate, I encourage, and I appreciate those people over there as much as any other employee that we have. So we have done those steps. It's about public safety. It's not about anything else.
Okay, so I have a question. So you've had 8 applicants for our potential laterals. How many are any in training at the present time?
we have one in training right now.
Okay.
And they're not a lateral.
Okay. Of the 8, okay, so what about the other several potential laterals? One of them you indicated can't afford the housing, right?
Well, those have been in the past 6 months.
Oh, okay, go
But I
ahead.
did have a conversation with one just last week, who's a lateral from California, who again, when I told him I would start him at a year 7, and I even told him what the max was, he said, okay, I need to suspend my application. I don't think I can do that. I'll have to check and get back to you. And so, I mean, that's somebody who, he came in with the full complement of all facets that we do, that it's, again, I'm not gonna say it's, we plug him in and 2 weeks later he's up and running, but the ease of being able to bring somebody on who already possesses the skills, and all we're talking about is computer software differences and stuff like that, is exponentially faster than someone who has no skills whatsoever coming in and is brand new, wide-eyed to the profession.
Yeah, what you're encountering, especially with regard to housing, we're seeing that in all our departments. It's not unique to law enforcement by any means. We've had the same issue with, be it legal, be it community development, it's a problem. People want to live here, but the cost of housing is astronomical. And unfortunately, it is a major problem. But anyway, so why don't we defer this to Thursday? Yes, sir, Sheriff.
On my point is that these people that are over at the dispatch center now that are recently leaving are leaving for different industries.
I'm not surprised.
So we need to attract from other industries people who have housing here.
Right.
That's what our strategy is. So they're leaving for work-at-home positions, to be an animal control officer, and other like industries.
When you recruit for dispatch, now ideally, you're looking for people with the same experience, right? Ideally.
Yes.
Do you ever encounter situations where perhaps somebody's coming out of patrol, for example, from another location and maybe just doesn't want to do that anymore? Can they transition, or do you ever encounter that, where they'd want to transition into dispatch, or would they consider that a poor fit?
We would entertain that. We've had two, unfortunately, they have been unsuccessful in the training program, separating themselves from their patrol mind to a dispatcher mind. And the multitasking that it takes is different, and they can't follow it all the way through and be the full investigator. They have to gather stuff and put it out, and they want to concentrate on, being the investigator, and so they haven't been able to break that cycle.
Understood.
So it's not that we wouldn't do it, and they do bring sometimes some value with that, but sometimes also some pitfalls, just about whether or not they can separate themselves from it or not.
The track record hasn't been good, but we do have one deputy that's over there, and she's doing a very, very great job over there.
Good,
So
okay.
But again, that's a cut down version too, and that's a
Right.
single channel person on one thing, and so we're able to kind of get away with that once in a while with somebody who plus they possess the skills, the desire, the passion. It's different than getting someone who's kind of told to go over there or what have you. It's not an easy chore to transition and say I can do this. And we have had two locals who live here in Kootenai County who both work at Spokane, and they also want to be at our center. And they have had conversations with us as well as looked at the application process, but then have had to back out because of the pay reduction that it would take to come over.
Okay, fair enough. Let's defer till Thursday. Okay?
Commissioners, two final points.
Yeah, go right ahead, Dan.
To Commissioner Brooks's comment about the jail, and we are acutely aware of that, and we're very well aware of being in dire straits there as well. And if it hasn't got on your agenda yet, it will be there for the January 4th meeting to talk about those problems, and in particular the $300,000 that was set aside earlier to help to try to address those things. And so that's one point, that's coming. And the second point is that I know we've been in front of you many, many times asking you to throw money at something to fix a problem. And I think sometimes the return was, well, it's not all about the money. And sometimes it isn't all about the money. But when we're in this market now, and we're talking about public safety here, and I don't mean to belittle any other department in the county, but if somebody doesn't answer the phone when somebody's getting hurt, and the police or the fire or the EMS folks don't come, then somebody's going to get hurt. So with that in mind, I would just ask the board to keep in mind that we're coming to you on an issue of public safety. And, I agree that throwing money in it always isn't the best idea, but in this case, it's what we're going to have to do to make it work.
An immediacy thing.
Yes, sir.
There's a number of places we are slower now in the county because of reduced staff or increased load. But this one is an immediacy where when somebody dials 911, they need somebody on the other end of the line.
I don't have a problem with addressing this. And, I would have liked to have known this a couple months ago, but you don't know what you don't know in a couple months. So dealing with it on Thursday is fine. We want to help you guys get up to speed as fast as possible. I guess my question about how are the other agencies doing with dispatchers? Because Spokane, in their detention deputy, they're, you talked about $10,000 bonus and all this stuff. They're down 20 positions, and they had 5 leaving last month. So adding all that extra money doesn't matter. Does that make sense? They're still not getting people when they have all that extra money to throw at it. So I'm not saying we don't need to address the issues. We do, and we might have saved, 3 or 4 applicants, and maybe we can go back after them after we make these changes. But to Sheriff's point, we've got to go after those other industries, to maybe trucking dispatch, maybe taxi cab dispatch. I don't know, anything that may have some transferable skills, to see if, we can get some other bodies in here, because COVID has just changed the way people want to work and where they want to work and what they want to do. So it's,
Go ahead, Sheriff, final word. Go ahead.
Yes, you said something about you wish you would have known something 2 months ago, or?
well, as far as
During the
telling
budgeting
us-
cycle, you mean?
no, telling us that you need something is great, and we've been going along that path, but it wasn't presented to us about specifically what you wanted to do. I can't guess on what's going to help you, and now you guys think that moving the matrix by $5 is going to help, so let's look at that on Thursday. So that's kind of what it would have been nice to know before. And like I said, 2 months ago, you didn't know what today was going to look like. So it's just one of those things that I would like to have been on board 2 months ago, so we could have maybe not missed on those particular applicants who, just can't make the transfer, if that makes sense. So Monday morning quarterback,
One thing about the money, and with respect to your position on how the others aren't filling those positions, I guess to me, common sense says, and again, where you find the money is up to you guys, but if you throw the money at it and it does work, then it worked.
sure.
And if you throw the money at it and it doesn't work, well, we're no less off than we are now. So I think it's a win-win.
I don't
least
want a
to look-
false sense of security, though.
Yeah.
I don't want it, okay, they gave us money, so we don't have to do anything else. And I think the sheriff sees that with going after some other industries.
Okay, let's move on.
Commissioner, just real
Thursday.
fast, I do have some numbers and stuff and an email, as well as I've been working with the auditors on what the matrix
Send them to us.
adjustment would be. We'll forward those on.
Yes, send them to us, please.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4, statement of work for intranet website with Civic Plus Information Technology. James, thank you, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. James Martin from IT for the record.
Put it farther away from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I'm got an annoying voice. I agree with that.
No, you don't.
This is a request to enter into an agreement with Civic Plus Media to create a new intranet site for us, for the county. Employees for things for access like pay and benefit information, access to the employee directory with phone numbers, employee-specific forms. It's basically a website for county employees.
Okay.
The current website that we have to have doing that intranet site is Casey Place. You may have heard of it, but it's been in use for about 20 years, and the programming language we used to update it has become outdated, and basically the website's in need of a refresh, a new look and feel, better navigation.
Okay.
The project funding was approved in the FY 2021 budget year, so we would just ask that you would sign the agreement and have us get started on creating a new intranet site.
Who owns it, James? Who are you dealing with?
Civic Plus Media is the company that we work with. We do have experience with them. We work with them to create our county's internet site, and they've done what they've.
Who's the principal there? Who are you dealing with? The individual?
The individual at Civic Plus Media is Megan Anderson.
Oh,
is our-
okay. No, I thought it was somebody else that I might have known. Okay.
Megan Underwood?
Underwood, yes, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Just Megan to me, but yes,
Okay,
thank you.
fair enough.
for that.
Any other questions for James? Go ahead.
I move that we approve the statement of work for the intranet website with Civic Plus. I'm good now.
Are you good?
Yep, I'm up.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion's carried. Thank you, James. Item number 5, professional services master agreement with XTR Value Services LLC, the assessor. Allison,
Oh, I don't know. Bayla, are you on the line?
So you get me.
Okay.
Allison Knapp for the record. So you're also going to get my layman version. of
Okay.
what this is a contract. We have our Aumentum system that we use in the assessor's office, the treasurer's office, a little bit the auditor's office. And this is pretty much a contract that we're asking XTR to come in and do discovery for us. It's a bit broken, the system, and most of us here are new that are all in these positions, so we don't know how it's supposed to work or what needs to be fixed. So they're going to come in, tell us what needs to be done, and then from this, the assessor side can do their part, the treasurer can do their part. But as an overall scope of discovery, that is what this contract is, and this has been budgeted in our assessor budget, Fund 46. And we're just asking for you to sign.
What exactly is it?
Aumentum?
Bayla, are you
Bayla,
on?
you there?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was on mute.
Yeah,
I did speak up earlier,
yeah.
but I didn't realize I was on mute. I apologize.
That's okay.
Yeah, as Allison indicated, our system, this is a joint system that's used by both the treasurer and the assessor. This is to correct certain problems with the system that simply didn't work. The system function, the system we have now is the result of an RFP that was done in 2004. The contract was awarded in 2004. The system was upgraded to a new way of doing processes in 2015, and that's when the system broke for Kootenai County. And despite all of our efforts by the previous assessor to resolve the issue, it's not been able to be resolved. This company, XTR, is unique in that they are comprised of some of the programmers that helped actually build the system when it was with Thomson Reuters. And so they are uniquely positioned with the expertise to help us resolve this system.
Okay, no, that's I'm good. Motion?
And I would like to add that this contract is scalable. This is discovery only. The outcome of this contract will be findings, recommendations, and a projected value. And then this contract is structured so that should we need to come back and then begin implementation, we would bring that then back before the board for subsequent review and approval for any additional expenditures.
Thank you, Bayla.
Understood. Motion?
Okay, I move we approve the professional services master agreement with XTR Value Services LLC in
Second.
the assessor's office.
Yep, and I'll second.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. Thank you. Item number 6, master service agreement for language line services, adult misdemeanor probation. Keith?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Keith Hutchison for the record. What I'm bringing for you is a master service agreement for Language Line. Language Line is going to be a bridge for us to be able to have, be able to talk different languages. So they're going to help us out, and currently we have this in place like 4 other departments. We're just having our own master service agreement, so we're billed directly for just our services only. Currently, in the last 4 years, we haven't had to use it. I should have brought it forward quicker, but I didn't. We just kind of ran into something, and our Officer Johnson and Officer Gordon brought it to my attention. I was like, well, let's get it taken care of.
Cost?
98 cents a minute.
But you budgeted for this.
No, we didn't have it in the budget, but we will have it in budget next year. Currently, we have no expenses for it right now. This is just getting us ahead of the service of it
In
right
the
now.
event.
In the event that we need it. If we need something, I do have it in my part of my budget that will be covered.
Okay.
And so just let us know if it turns out to
Yeah,
be an
yeah.
issue.
Yeah, and then also I did reach out to the courts and say, hey, you guys are putting them on probation. Why don't you cover it? I tried that angle and it didn't work. So I did try find other funding source, tried to lay it on them, and it just didn't work.
Nice try, Keith.
I tried, but again, that's why I had to get my own contract and everything else. We don't have any expenses right now. I don't foresee it, but I say that now, look what happens. But we will be able to cover it within our budget.
Okay,
if
cool.
needed.
Motion?
I move that we approve the master service agreement with Line Language Services and adult misdemeanor probation.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion's carried. Item number 7. Thank you. Resolution 2021-121, cancellation of penalties and interest for AIN 223111, and it's a Kootenai County property, BOCC.
Yeah.
Nancy, did you want to take this?
Sure, this is, Nancy Pluff for the record. This is some old taxes and penalties and interest from 2007 to 2009 that we were not aware of. So this is going back and correcting a payment that had not been made from several years ago.
Okay. All right, motion?
I move that we approve Resolution
Thank you.
2021-121, cancellation of penalties and interest for AIN 223111 with Kootenai County.
Second.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion's carried. Item number 8, Resolution 2021-122, bill of sale for the retirement of K9 Dino, KCSO, Captain Stu Miller.
Greetings, Commissioners. Captain Miller for the record. This is a resolution to surplus one of our K9s. And then a bill of sale to his current K9 Dino came to us in 2019, but it has developed some severe medical conditions and is no longer viable.
Can you turn your mic on? Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
Captain.
Right.
There you go.
My bad.
It's all right.
How old is he?
I think he's about 5 now.
Oh, he's young.
For 5 years old, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has some sort of an autoimmune disease. We've been working with Cecilia trying to get through ICRIMP for the claim so that we can replace him as well because he's pretty new in the patrol world. But
Yeah.
something's going on with the dog that we couldn't fix. So.
Is there an actual financial transaction? Is he paying us like $1? I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so the bill of sale is usual. We surplus the dog and then to the handler. Because he's a specialized dog, we just can't surplus him to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's a patrol dog, and so the handler has agreed to care for him.
Cool.
In perpetuity.
Okay.
Then what about, is there any guarantee from the breeder?
Nope, not like that. Usually
Okay.
they're a year
A year.
guarantee, and he's
It's a puppy
surpassed that.
guarantee, but
Yeah.
we're way beyond that.
Yeah, and this was some sort of a, like I said, it was an autoimmune disease that attacked his, pretty rare and unusual for this to happen. We sent him to WSU, and
Oh, okay.
and they thought that they could have him fixed, but not to the level of a patrol dog, but able to be a pet. But not going to work for us. So again, we're working through Cecilia for an ICRIM claim to get reimbursement, so we can get another dog to replace him too.
Okay. Well, thank you. Motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 2021-122, which is a bill of sale for the retirement of K9 Dino and the sale to Deputy Eric Brock.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Thank you, Captain Miller. Item number 9, Resolution 2021-123, acceptance of vehicle ownership transfer for Public Transportation Resource Management Office. Is it Kim?
I think Jody, maybe?
Oh, Jody?
Oh,
It's actually going to be Chad.
Oh, go
hey,
ahead,
Chad.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Chad Engel, RMO for the record. And we are seeking acceptance of vehicle ownership transfer to be added into the Kootenai County Public Transportation Vehicle Fleet.
Okay. Where's it coming from? Is it?
This came from one of our contractors as a donation.
Oh. Okay. Any other questions? Motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 2021-123, acceptance of vehicle ownership transfer, public transportation and through the Resource Management Office.
second.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion's carried. Item number 10. Thanks, Chad. Proclamation, School Choice Week in Kootenai County.
I will read this if you
Yes,
like.
please.
Proclamation of Kootenai County School Choice Week. Whereas all children in Kootenai County should have access to the highest quality education possible, and whereas Kootenai County recognizes the important role that an effective education plays in preparing all students in Kootenai County to be successful adults, and whereas quality education is critically important to the economic vitality of Kootenai County, and whereas Kootenai County is home to a multitude of high-quality public and non-public schools from which parents can choose for their children, in addition to families who educate their children in the home, and whereas educational variety not only helps to diversify our economy, but also enhances the vibrancy of our community, and whereas Kootenai County has many high-quality teaching professionals in all types of school settings who are committed to educating our children, and whereas School Choice Week is celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, and organizations to raise awareness of the need for effective educational options. Now, therefore, Kootenai County Board of Commissioners do hereby recognize January 23 through 29, 2022 as Kootenai County School Choice Week. We call this to the observance and attention of all of our citizens.
We can consider that a motion.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. And the proclamation for Kootenai County School Choice Week is hereby approved. Okay, moving on to status update, our final item. Okay, first item, I'm doing this right, is facilities expansion.
Yep, nothing to report until February when we get our designs back.
Got it. Pack Airport lease.
I spoke to Stephen this morning and told him it was time to lean on PAC a little bit and get a response, because so far the response has been, we can't pay more.
Okay, so there was a memo, an email that came in earlier
Yeah,
with, I think, a counter offer from Wally.
yeah, which is totally insufficient.
Okay, so the yesterday's email at almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon is what Stephen has
Talked to
digested.
Stephen this
and-
morning.
Okay, so I'd like that kind of in writing because they outlined several changes that they'd like to make. So it'd be nice to hear from Stephen why the changes are unacceptable.
Does Stephen have a problem with it too?
Oh, no. I'll be happy to transmit that to him and get something
Oh,
for
okay.
everybody to look at.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, at least potentially get them on a path.
Yeah,
Financial snapshot, that's next month.
I think on the 4th.
Okay, yeah. Impact fee analysis, Bill.
we had a great meeting with Ann Westcott from
Galena.
Galena. I remember Galena Consulting, and I talked to Ann. I was going to say Galena. I talked to Ann yesterday at length, and she's going to get some more clarification on a couple of points that I had questions about.
Okay, cool. And she was going to prepare it, was it for 3 of our areas?
I don't have it in front of
Yeah.
me. I think it was 4.
4 areas,
Actually.
okay, several areas. I don't remember which ones they were.
We could take a look at those when the time comes.
Yep. Okay,
And the cost of her contract is also covered by the impact fees.
and I think it's something, what, $10,000
$10,000
per
per
area?
area,
Per area, okay. Okay. North Lot land sale.
Yep, Dave is finishing up the letter today and we'll email that. So I would not expect to hear back from them until January with the holidays.
Okay, and the letter would be to,
To ask for the counter offer for the area that occupies some of Kootenai County's property.
got it. Okay, Skeet and Gun Club.
I talked to Stephen again this morning about that, and he said that the firm doing the appraisal, this is about the 4th time they've said next week. And he told them we're out of next week's, we need it next week. So I anticipate, he said, I don't know if it'll do any good. Apparently the person doing the appraisal has been ill, but we need that to go any further.
Okay, and that's for the 3rd lot?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we've also, as far as the gun club, we've met with the NRA representative. Did you meet with her, Leslie?
I have not yet.
Okay, Chris and I did. She's a new representative for the NRA for Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. And she was very supportive of the gun club, but she was also understood that there was just very little we could do in terms of the FAA regulations that require people on the airport paying roughly the same monthly rent. And that does not work for the ski club.
Yeah, so it came down to what is potentially preferential treatment. And she said that the NRA might, I gotta stress that, have grants or something available that they could take advantage of. But she needed to understand better where the club was with relation to the county and the airport, so. Okay. Finally, I'll read the ARPA statement. Requests for Kootenai County ARPA funding are now undergoing evaluation. If you have any questions or comments about the American Rescue Plan Act or Kootenai County's evaluation process, please direct them to the ARPA, arpa@kcgov.us email address. On that note, public comment? Hearing none. 2:49, meeting adjourned. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays.